Aloha! I'm Eric Anderson, pastor of Church of the Holy Cross, United Church of Christ in Hilo, Hawaii. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about the 23rd chapter of Matthew's Gospel. In chapter 22, Jesus had several conversations, debates, challenges, and responses with leaders of the various schools of religious thought that one found in the temple in the first century. He went back and forth with Sadducees, who were dedicated to the temple worship. He went back and forth with Herodians, whose primary purpose was to support the continued existence of the Herodian dynasty. And, of course, he had debates with Pharisees. He had been debating Pharisees all his ministry because the Pharisees were strongest in the villages from which he had come. Here in the temple, these were Pharisees that came from a different kind of life. These were city people, wealthy people, powerful people. These were folks who were part of the Jerusalem Council. They had authority. They had power. At the end of chapter 22, all of these people were silenced. Jesus went on to address everybody who was present, and the first thing he said was to beware of the Pharisees. I'm pretty sure that he didn't mean all Pharisees, in great part because throughout his ministry, Jesus sounded an awful lot like a Pharisee, one trained in that way of thinking and of living and of worshiping God. But there, amongst the powerful Pharisees, those were the things that he warned about. He warned about two things. He warned about people who would put together systems that burdened some and left others more free. And those others who were more free would not help those with the burdens. Obviously, the ones with the lighter weights upon them would have been these city Pharisees. The second thing he warned about was their pride, their hubris, the way that they demanded the best seats, and the way that they wore their fringes long. Those who exalt themselves, Jesus concluded, will be humbled. Those who humble themselves will be exalted. It is due, in fact, to my own pride, my own hubris, that I find this message of humility to be so compelling and so challenging at the same time. I am convinced that one of the things that Jesus came to show us was how to live humbly, how to preach humbly, how to speak humbly, how to guide people humbly, how to critique them humbly, how to be humble. This is not a world that rewards humility, and we should not expect it to do so. But, said Jesus, we have a God who rewards humility. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled. Those who humble themselves will be exalted. There is a line between humility and abuse, and I do not recommend that you cross that line. What I do recommend is that you listen before you speak. I recommend that you appreciate before you critique. I recommend that you remember that others have contributions that may be more valuable than your own. Most of all, I recommend that you remember and celebrate that God has created so many gifted people in this world, and that God is greater than us all. Be humble. That's what I'm thinking. I'm curious to hear what you're thinking. Send me an email or leave me your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. From Church of the Holy Cross, UCC in Hilo, Hawaii, that's what I'm thinking.